a guy who I look okay and things, but I've got a lot of, serious physical challenges, which I deal with as a result of my spinal cord injury.
Joy, we know you as a rider. We followed you in the last Africa Eco Race, but now I want to focus on your activity of a keynote speaker. We have your book here that we recommend. Always, it's like, it's the safest place when you are down. Read these and then for sure something will change in your life. Back to that 13th of October 2007, your life changed. What clicked inside you, how you pulled you off the situation?
Okay. Yeah. Look, when I first crashed, I was unconscious, because what happened was it was a Saturday morning. I'll give the guys a story that don't know. It was a Saturday morning. I'm lining up at the start of a race, just like many races before. I'm lying second in the championship. If I win this race, I can win this championship. And it was just all important in my mind. And that was the last thing I remembered. And the next thing I remembered was waking up, lying in the dirt. My helmet was off. I'm facing the sky, and there's people looking down at me. And there'd been a big crash going into that first corner. I'd been unconscious. I'd smashed out 12 of my teeth. And I was just a mess. And then over the next, I lay there for several hours. Then over the next 48 hours, I was transferred to 3 different hospitals, to be told eventually that I'm paralyzed and I won't walk again, and that's how it'll be the rest of my life. And I have no feeling or movement from my chest down, and that's where I'm at. And so suddenly your whole life is flipped upside down. And at first you don't really get it. It was probably the first couple of days are like, yeah, let's do it. We'll be fine. And then it becomes 3 days and 4 days and a week and 10 days. And now you're like, this is crazy. And I think it was it had a gradual thing for me where suddenly you're realizing that you got to live the rest of your life like this, with no bowel control, no bladder control. You can't digest food properly. You can't walk. You can't stand. You can't even go to the toilet on your own. You can't eat on your own almost, because you can't reach stuff. You can't, and the pain is insane. And so, you start looking at this and going like, do I want to live? Is it even worthwhile? We've all seen people where we said, if that happened to me, I would off myself. It's too much. And you think those thoughts, and you lie in that hospital bed and you think like, yeah, I don't know if this is worth it, man. This life is going to be so miserable. It's probably better just to check out, save myself all the pain and suffering, save my family and everyone around me this, and they can move on with their lives and change it all. And so it's a dark place to be in, and I mean it's a feeling that when anyone out there who's felt those feelings knows that it's very real. It's not something where you're like, you're just having a tough day. It's like you really look at your life and go like, I can't live this life. It's too much, and that's really where I was, and I had to make a decision in that hospital, and my decision, because all your dreams, all your goals, all your business, your family, everything is evaporated. You can't do all the things you thought you could do. And so I made a decision in that hospital, and I looked around and I had my 4 little kids, and I had my wife Meredith, and they were incredibly supportive, along with family and friends and bikers and people rallied around me. And I basically made a decision that I was going to live, not just stay alive, but live and still chase dreams and goals, and I was going to just do everything I could. And I was fortunate enough that as the time went on, I did start to gain some things back, and I started to learn to walk again and things like that. But along with all of that in that hospital, I decided that I was going to, because it was a goal before I was paralyzed, to race Dakar. And in that hospital, I said, I'm still going to race the Dakar Rally, no matter what. That's going to be my physical goal. And that started a 10-year journey. And then it was a 10-year journey of crazy ups and downs and things up until the point that, you know, we got to the start line of the Dakar in 2017.
When you are in that kind of situation, how deep inside you have to dig into yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, I was very fortunate that I had a very supportive family, but it's also a bit of a two-edged sword because I was the only breadwinner in my family. So my wife was at home, and we had four children, so four daughters. So it was a situation where you look at this and you think like, you know, you have responsibilities, but also you look at this and it's like the weight of your injury is even heavier because of the responsibilities, if that makes sense, which makes it even worse in a way. So there's pros and cons to this, you know. Um, you know, there were times that I was lying there where I thought it would be better if I was single, you know, that I didn't have to worry about all these other people as well, you know, because they were financially dependent on me, you know, and so there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages to having that. But I guess for me in my mind space, it comes down to you as an individual. And as an individual, if you're single or if you're married with children, it's different, but it's the same from a point of view that you have to look down inside yourself. It's your life. You're the one who's got to live or die or choose what you're going to do or things like that. And you see, for me, I guess it's kind of a bit of a silly thing, but I think about like movies that I've seen, you know, of big comebacks of guys and different things like this. And when you have this guy who is down and he's out and he's having a really tough time and you think that's just too much to handle, and you see this guy just kind of claw his way back and build up and it takes years, but he kind of comes back and eventually he like really kind of like has this massive comeback and returns, and it's just fantastic. And not many people have the opportunity to have a really cool comeback story. The only guys who have that opportunity are the guys who have been in that low place. And so for the guys out there that are in that low place and they're looking at this, you've got to understand that it's terrible, but it is also an incredible opportunity. You can look around and you find that strength inside of you and you go like, you know what? Watch this boy. Watch this boy. This guy's gonna come back, and you find that thing in your belly that tells you, yeah, we can do it. And I'd also like to say that it wasn't like every day once I decided I was going to live and I was going to race Dakar again one day. I wasn't like a machine and I just fought hard every day and I was positive and there were days like that, but there were also days, and especially nights, where I'd lie in that hospital bed in the dark on my own and I would just cry. It was so hard to be positive and fight all the time, and you have these different setbacks and different challenges that made it worse and harder and things like that. I mean, to be perfectly frank, I mean, I had situations where I'm working hard at physiotherapy and it's tough and it's difficult, but I'm working hard and I feel like, man, I'm putting in a lot of effort. And because you don't have bowel control, I would mess myself. You know, I'd have an accident and you're in the middle of a physio session in a hospital. Everybody around you knows it's happened, and you've got to get taken up to the showers and sorted out, and you can't do it all yourself. People have to help you and stuff. It's incredibly humiliating. It's incredibly difficult, and you kind of feel angry. You're like, come on, man, I'm working hard here, I'm trying, and I just get hit down, you know. And so there were these dark times, but then what do? The next day, you get up, you get back down there in that physio room and you get cracking again. And that's the difference. It's not a case of being positive and on top of it and handling life every day. It is a case of you're going to have downs and you're going to cry and it's miserable and it's messy, but then you get up again and you just keep that curve just going up each day. And eventually you're here when you were here because you just had that slow, gradual climb. So you were asking about an individual and a family. If you're an individual, you find that thing inside of you and you decide, I'm going to change this. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change my situation little bit by little bit every day, ups and downs as the curve goes, but keep a little bit higher.
How people react to what you say?
Yeah. Look, you know, with the talks, you know, I never realized when I started doing the talks the effect that it would have on people. I thought people would be like, "Oh, that's a cool story, you know, that was great." But I get emails on almost a daily basis and messages over Messenger and this kind of stuff of like, man, I just really appreciate you sharing your story. It's made such a difference because, as you can see by the way we've spoken now and things, I like to tell it how it is. You know, with the fact that you lose bowel control and you have to use catheters, and it's horrible. It's horrible stuff, but it's real. And there's a lot of people out there that are dealing with their own problems, and it's difficult and it's horrible and it's challenging stuff. And when I speak, I'm an open book. I speak from my heart. I'm not like some super polished speaker who's going to give you the 5 points of resilience, or I'm going to tell you my story. I'm going to tell you where I came from, what we went through, and how we got to achieve that goal. And I think people relate to that realness, And so most of the people that I speak to have never heard about me. They know nothing about my story. And so they sit there and they start listening to the story, and they take this whole journey from me riding a bicycle as a little boy all the way through getting these goals to race Dakar, to being paralyzed, to, coming back. And then, obviously I hit the cow along the way, and, all those kind of challenges, getting to the Dakar, being hit by a car at Dakar, and, finding a bike in the desert. And they have this whole thing. And what it does is, what I've realized is that it gives them a different perspective on their own challenges. We all know somebody, myself included, who has problems way worse than what you have. And sometimes when you hear that person with their problems and what they've been through, it makes you look at your own and go like, man, I can do this. You know what I mean? I can achieve this. There's certainly, I can get through this. And so it gives you a perspective. And yeah, people, it's been fantastic. They'll come up to me afterwards and they want to hug me, and and we get photos together, and it's incredible, and it makes me feel like, yeah, we're making a difference. And so the keynote speaking, I love it, from the travel, from the going to different places. Obviously, it's my income as well, which is an important part of it. But the difference that it makes in people's lives is a part that I didn't expect it to be as big as it is, and it's super cool. It is cool.
Thank you so much. Let's keep in touch.
Betcha. See you soon.
See you soon. Thank you very much.
Cool. Bye bye.
Ciao. Bye bye.